Hey everybody, hope you're all very well and welcome to part 5 of this video series looking at chromatic approaches to triads. In this lesson we are going to look at double chromatic approach from above. So that is still working our major triads, now approaching each of the chord tones a double chromatic from above. So last lesson we looked at double chromatics from below. So this time we're going to look at double chromatics from above. So if we look at go back to our C major triad here. So double chromatic above C would be D, C sharp, and then down to C. A double chromatic down to our E would be F sharp to F to E. Double chromatic to the G would be A to G sharp to G. And then finally we have the double chromatic going down to the C again. So those again in order: to the C, to the E, to the G, and to the C. Now, for those of you that have watched all of these videos, I'm pretty sure you can guess exactly what's coming next. It is, of course, the cycle of fifths exercise, approaching all of our chord tones from double chromatics above. I'll give you the first 3 again, then we'll do a full playthrough around the entire exercise. So we'll do these in the key of C, F, and B flat. You guys are going to be masters of these 3 keys by the time we're done. So we've got C, F, and B flat. Probably just worth reinforcing actually why use the cycle of fourths like this. Why do I kind of keep using this? The reason is that it forces you to work in all 12 keys. That's one. The second is it forces you to move around the bass neck, because it's very, very easy to kind of get trapped in this 5 fret area of the fingerboard, right? I was that player for a very, very long time. So in working around the cycle of fourths and moving all around the different positions, you gain fingerboard knowledge, you gain fingerboard dexterity, and it forces you to work in all of the keys. And for whatever reason, some keys can be a little bit stickier than others. And also, certain things will work in certain keys in certain areas of the bass neck. So it's always a good idea to find out what works best where. So that's why I always like to have students work ideas around the cycle of fourths. Okay? Soapbox over. So we've already worked through the C major triad. We worked through it starting at 3rd fret first. We'll just now shift that up to 8th fret. Okay. Now let's look at the F major triad. So our triad is F, A, C, and F. So a double chromatic above the F is G to G flat to F. Double chromatic above the A is B natural to B flat to A. Did get that right, didn't I? B natural to B flat to A. Then above the C, we've got D, D flat, and C. And then G, G flat, and F. I think I got all of my enharmonics right there. They're all flat. Yes, all flats. So that's our F. F, A, C, and F. Now, then we can move to B flat. So we have B flat, D, F, and B flat. So we've got C to B natural to B flat. We've then got E natural to E flat to D. Then we've got G to G flat to F. And then we've got C to B natural to B flat again. work around this exercise using the same rhythm that we did with the double chromatics going up. So we'll do 2/16 and an eighth note. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. So with that rhythm there, 2/16 and an 8. Okay, makes everything fit within the bars a little bit more nicely than doing everything as quarter notes. All right, so let's just drop in a complete playthrough now of this entire exercise all the way through all 12 keys. Okay, now let's take a look at a musical example. So, as with the ones we've already done, I've created a simple bass groove for you guys that is only using chord tones and double chromatics. Okay, so we're going to go back once again to the key of A major. Okay. So before we go any further, let's just put the playthrough of the groove in here, and then we will get into this and break it down for you. Okay, so now that we've heard the groove, let's break this down. Okay, so bar 1, we're starting dead on beat 1, pair of eighth notes, both roots. 1. Then we land on beat 3, 1, 2, 1. And then we've got a double chromatic down to the root again. So root, root, double chromatic to the 5, 3, 1. Okay, so let's take a look at that second bar. So we've got root, root, then double chromatic to the octave there. So 1, and then that's a double chromatic to our major third. So and. Okay, so let's try those two bars together. 3, 4. 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and okay, so that's our first two bars. Bar 3, exactly the same as bar 1. Okay, then in bar 4, we've got two eighth notes on the first beat again, but instead of coming in on the second quarter note, second eighth note, we're now coming in after 1/16. So now it's bum bum. So 1, 2, 1. So it pushes forward by 1/16. Okay, so let's try bars 3 and 4 together now. Let's loop those round. 3, 4. So that's our groove there. Okay, remember, you can grab all of the notation and the backing track via the link in the description. Okay, now let's try that whole groove from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and push. Okay, so that's a breakdown of that musical example there. Just some ways that you can use those double chromatics in the context of a bass groove. So for now, take those ideas away and start working on them. Work on the musical example I've given you. Start weaving them into your own bass lines as well. Thanks so much for checking out this lesson, guys. If you would like to see a full extended version with some additional stuff, you can click the link to my website down there in the description. You'll also find an ever-increasing transcription vault. I'm releasing a couple of transcriptions a month. You'll also find articles that I've written and a whole lot more. So like I said, link down there in the description. See you soon.